Hey, this is Catherine. Sorry it's been a little while. I've been super busy with doctor appointments and they tire me out, and I've reduced one of my psych drugs, and that's kind of made me a little it's made me a gigantic bitch, but you know, that's life. I've put the dose a little closer back to where it was, and hopefully things will even out. But yeah, a lot of doctor appointments, because y'all know I'm not in super good health, but obviously, but yeah, I've seen my regular primary care physician, and it's good news. On that front, my A1C is down from 7 to 6.7, which is still not great, but I mean, it's better. I guess it really went below 6. So I'm getting there inch by inch. And I went up to the KCI clinic at OHSU, and they're satisfied with how my eyes are doing. I'm sorry if there's background noise, because as always, there is the ventilator. They've tried to move it away from me and the camera, but now there's also the air conditioner, which sounds super loud. And 2 spoiled, rotten cats that weren't in the bedroom, but it's someone else's turn tonight to be in the bedroom, so they're sitting there at the door having a kitty party. A kitty pity party. Anyway, just another day in the life. So yeah, at the eye clinic, they're satisfied, but I really am not, because the vision in my left eye is just getting worse and worse. I swear, even from the beginning of this year, it's gotten worse. And I can't really hold my arms up in front of you to see, but I've shown other people, and it's become very obvious that my right arm is smaller than my left arm, and my hand and wrist is getting a lot bonier. That's not related to the eyes, of course. I'm just saying this has been a tough winter, and it's obvious that my eyes aren't getting better. Muscular dystrophy, of course, is progressing along its preordained path, and it's kind of depressing. I don't know, this feels like a fail vlog, because well, I can't accomplish anything. The only thing I accomplish is actually going to the doctor. So yeah, I went to a dentist because the tooth was hurting me. It turns out the tooth is cracked, split clean in half, and needs to be pulled. That's brilliant. So the dentist specializes in seeing disabled people and special needs people, and doing dentistry under sedation. So I need to coordinate. I need to let my pulmonologist know what's going on, so that he can help coordinate with the hospital. It'll be in Albany, because I guess no one in Salem does this, and but Albany's a lot closer than Portland, so I'm not complaining too much. I mean, it's a strange hospital with strange nurses and doctors, but Yeah, my pulmonologist will help make sure there's an RT there in case I aspirate something when I'm like my own spit probably. So I choke on my own spit just trying to sleep on my back. I've got these, I showed these to my doctor, they're sores on the right side of my head because I always sleep on my right side. I only go on my back when my right hip starts hurting me. And he says he thinks they're pressure sores, which makes sense because, I do have a hospital bed, and being, sleeping on my right side with the head raised, I do feel, pressure against my head, and they do hurt. Sometimes I go on my back if they're hurting too much, but they just won't heal. They've been here for like a year, and there's, if I sleep on my left side, I'll be facing the air conditioner, which already blows in my left eye all night because I sleep on my right side, so it blows against the left side of my head and into my left eye. When I go on my back, the left side of my face and my left eye are in the direct line of fire. So, I think it has something to do with it, because also when I sleep on my back, my right eye gets like glued shut. The eyelid is stuck to the eyeball. So I don't know what to do. I want to get rid of these sores because of course they hurt, and people have trouble helping me put my glasses on because they think they hook the earpiece over my ear. No, you hooked it over a scab. So gross and weird. But it's just the way life is when you're disabled. You don't have any privacy, like talk about having dignity, but I obviously have none. I've never had dignity. Let's see. I asked my doctor, my primary care physician that is, about getting a referral to a nutritionist because yesterday, I guess the day before yesterday, now was 100-day streak of tracking my food on MyFitnessPal, and watching my calories and my carbs. It consistently says I should have lost 10 to maybe 12 or 13 pounds in 5 weeks. So 100 days is more than 5 weeks. So I like to think that I've lost at least that much, maybe more, but weighing me is so crazy. There are scales you can hook to Hoyer lifts and then hook the sling onto, I guess. So that's something I've been thinking about. I put one on my Amazon wish list, but it's really cheap, and I've already learned from the whole camera thing that really cheap means really, really cheap, and probably won't work, and I'll probably be upset and send it back. So, but that's something I've been ruminating over. Anyway, maybe when they pull my tooth. By the time my dad was my age, they pulled most of his teeth, except I think he still had a row of teeth in the front on the bottom, so he could still chew. He could still bite into steak and stuff, but he did wear dentures too. So I saw most of my teeth, but I'm really into archaeology and mummies and things like that, and yeah, looking at x-rays of my teeth, I'm like, oh my gosh, see better looking teeth than mummies and caveman skulls, but whatever. But that's something else, you know. I told my pulmonologist, not my pulmonologist, that I told my dentist that I've never been much of a brusher, which is true. I never got into the habit like I should have, but it's embarrassing because I can't lift a toothbrush to my own mouth, and I have one of those Sonic Care electric toothbrushes, which my sister bought me a while ago, probably last time I had teeth pulled. Oh my gosh, those things vibrate so hard, and if you like accidentally touch, instead of the bristles, you accidentally touch the plastic to your teeth or gums or something, it like rattles your whole skull. And I said that to the doctor, to the dentist, and he said, yeah, it does that to me too, but you still gotta do it. And I just said, well, you know, it's embarrassing having to ask my caregivers to brush my teeth for me. And he says, well, you have them do more embarrassing things than that, which, well, that was, you know, truth bombed from the dentist. They certainly do. They certainly do. So, you know, that will have to be a thing, I guess. I want to hang on to the teeth I got left. Because he also said I have a couple of small dental cavities that need to be filled, and a filling that is partially missing or something that needs to be replaced. So, yeah, if they want to knock me out and do all that, they may end up putting me in a bed instead of just letting me stay in my wheelchair like I do for trick changes. And if that's the case, then I may get an updated weight so I can finally update my fitness pal and tell them how much I currently weigh, so that I know how much I've lost. And that'll be nice. Although this week is my mother-in-law's birthday. It was actually Tuesday. And then of course Mother's Day is coming up. And Jill got this gigantic cake from Costco, and there just aren't that many of us to eat it, so it turns out a piece, like what I would think is a normal piece, is, according to my fitness pal, actually 2.5 pieces. Or 2.5 servings, I should say. So, you know, that's a lot of cake. And Joel's birthday's next week. I don't know if he's going to want a cake, or if we can do something like, I don't know, if we ate the Costco cake in the amounts that my fitness pal says we should, it would last through Mother's Day to his birthday, and probably the Memorial Day. We'd probably be sick of cake by then. So yeah, Mother's Day is hard. I'm switching topics for a moment, but don't worry, I got more doctor appointments to talk about, so but yeah, I'll switch over about how hard Mother's Day is, because my mom has been gone for 8 years now, and I miss her very much. And I miss being able to talk to her about stuff, and I miss just the hugs from her. I'm not gonna rag on my mother-in-law, although sometimes I feel like Fred Flintstone trying to convince myself, you know, if you've ever seen, like, especially the cartoons where Wilma is pregnant and then right after Pebbles is born, and Mother Slaghoople, which I'm trying to figure out why Wilma's mother's name is Slaghoople when Wilma's maiden name is Pebbles. She actually named her daughter after her maiden name, I guess. But I guess her mother could have been widowed and then remarried and then widowed or divorced or something. Because Wilma never talks about her father or stepfather. So I think way too much about this stuff. But you know, I never really understood the concept of divorce when I was a kid because no one I knew did it. It was just different. So I remember there were neighbors that lived up the road from us that I'm not going to name names, but I mean, if any local people stumble across this video, you'll probably be able to figure out who I'm talking about. But yeah, wife died, so husband married wife's nurse. Wife died of cancer, yeah, so he married the nurse who helped take care of his wife while she was sick. So I guess they bonded over that. I've heard of it happening before, and I guess you learn to lean on someone, and then when your significant other is gone, and you just got the other person, so, you know, whatever, I'm not judging, but she had a son and daughter of her own, and he did not adopt the son and daughters he did not adopt the son and daughters, so they still had their mother's married names. If I remember correctly, she was divorced, so I couldn't figure out why the kids' last names were X, yet it was wrong to call her Mrs. X. No, her last name was Mrs. Y, because she was now married to Mr. Y. But if she was married to Mr. Y, then why weren't her kids' last names Y, like the Brady Bunch, where evidently Mike Brady adopted all the girls, whatever, I can't remember Mom Brady's first name. Carol, that's it, whatever Carol's married name was. Evidently, you know, Mike adopted all the kids, and that's the way they became the Brady Bunch. So I couldn't figure out why, you know, that was my only experience with divorce. As far as I know, though, on Facebook, she does use her stepdad's last name now, and she did, like, in junior and senior years of high school, so, well, I shouldn't say that. I was only a grade ahead of her, so by the time she was a senior, I was gone. I'm getting more and more specific, so anyway, yeah, so by the time she was a junior, at least she seemed to be using her stepdad's last name, so maybe he finally did formally adopt her, but the mom herself died of cancer just a few years ago, so he's widowed again, and yeah, life. I sure hope life isn't a big joke, because I don't get it. What was my point? Oh yeah, some you do divorce. Oh, and Mother's Day. And my mother-in-law? Oh, Fred Flintstone. Jeez Louise. Talk about going off on a tangent. What do they call that? Getting lost in the brambles? Rambling in the brambles? I'm really good at that. So, yeah, Fred Flintstone. Insert clip here. If I can find it on YouTube of the whole Fred chanting his mantra, I love my mother. I love my mother-in-law. I love my mother-in-law. Trying to convince himself. Fake it till you make it, they say. So I tried in the beginning. I tried really hard, but I don't know. My mother-in-law's a different person. She complains that, or she has complained in the past, that I'm too sarcastic, but I don't know. I think she's awfully sarcastic, and she's complained that I'm bossy, but I think she's awfully bossy. There was an incident one time with a caregiver whose name I don't even remember. Man, this was like back when W was still president. No, Obama got elected the year I got the trach. I just don't really remember the election because I was in the hospital so long and I just did not watch TV except for I think I watched some Ring of Honor wrestling and some backyard wrestling on some independent channel or something. I don't know what responsible TV channel would show kids beating themselves up. But then they also showed Ring of Honor wrestling, so it must have been a Sinclair affiliated channel, like ABC. I don't know. I have no idea what I was watching. But I guess watching other people hurt each other made me feel a little better. But the election, I do not remember it at all. I don't remember anything about that election cycle. Just like, boom, Obama's our president. Okay. So what was the point? Well, the Iraq War was still going on. And, what was the controversy at the time? There was a woman whose son was a soldier who was killed in Iraq, I think. Maybe Afghanistan, but I think it was Iraq. And she became a very vocal war protester. So anyway, this woman was a very vocal anti-war protester. And she and veterans, as well as other, people who were just against the war, gathered outside the White House to protest. Biden keeps saying W has to have been in the White House, but I know he wasn't. But I guess the White House is still where you go to protest, regardless of who started the war. The point is, she was like the ringleader, and she was getting interviewed on CNN and Fox and all that. Fox lambasted her. My mother-in-law is a big Fox conservative person, and she said something to the effect of talking specifically about the woman, saying, I can't stand these people who protest the war when they have never gone over and fought and have no idea what it's like or what the veterans go through or whatever, Ignoring the fact that there were veterans who had returned from the war who were at the White House protesting with her. She herself had lost her son. She had suffered a sacrifice in the war. Even though she wasn't over there with a gun getting shot at herself, she had still sacrificed her son, basically. And that's what I said to my mother-in-law. Since my mother my MIL was going on about how she didn't know anything about the losses and hurts and sacrifices of the soldiers, I just said, you realize she lost her son in the war. She's suffered a loss, sacrifice. And my mother-in-law, she points to, she says, I have the right to state my opinion in this house. And she points to Joel and says, "You have the right to state your opinion." And she points to the caregiver, like I said, I can't even remember what her name was. She was blonde, I remember that. But it points to her and says, "And you have the right to state your opinion." But, just this rant about freedom of speech or whatever, which you do have freedom of speech even in a workplace, but I felt like I was excluded from that. Like she pointed to herself and Joel and caregiver, but I was bad because I stated not my opinion, but the fact that she lost her son. But I was the bad guy. So that's kind of one of the the relationship we have where whatever. I just try to avoid talking to her most of the time because if I contradict her in any way, it sets her off. And of course, Joel's used to it because he grew up with her, So he's like, forget about it, whatever. But I mean, she's really, really hurt me sometimes. And I've just laid there in bed and cried and asked Joel, why did she say that? Why does it have to be this way? Why is my mom dead? Not that I'm saying I want his mom to be dead, but why can't I have my mom to talk to? But I was getting, early in our marriage, the red flags for me popped up with the fact that, like a couple of months before Joel and I even met, she had moved to Alaska. I don't know why she moved to Alaska. She always wanted to see it. It's colder up there and she's always hot. Who knows? Because all she ever did was complain about it. She claims, this isn't me, this is my mother-in-law. She claims the natives are all drunk and incestuous and would only have children to rape them. She claims, the whole place is gross and the people are disgusting and everything's too expensive. And, something that costs like, a pair of like Ked sneakers, it would cost $10 here, it costs like $40 there because they have to be brought in by airplane. And, milk costs a fortune. All these things that are like standard here are luxury items up there. So she was up there for 3 years. The whole time Joel and I dated, she was up there. She came down for a weekend or a week or whatever when we got married. For the wedding, of course. And then about 6 months after we got married, she suddenly decided she had to move back to this area. And right away, the feeling I got was, oh no, for the last 25 years, I've been the only woman in this, in my baby boy's life. I just felt like she saw me as competition or something. That's probably crazy talk, but that's been rolling around in my head for the last 21 years and change. And she's not really disproved it. Right off the bat when she came back, she's also extremely religious. She's very Catholic and very extreme, I think, compared to most other religious people I know. I still considered myself like Protestant at the time, and to stand up to the barrage I was getting from her and Joel even at the time, because he was still, way more into religion than he is now. He's kind of like fallen by the wayside, apostate, I don't know. But I'm sure if you asked him, he'd still say he believes in God and he's Catholic and all that, but like, he doesn't even make it to church for, Easter and Christmas, so whatever. But anyway, early in our marriage, there was a little more conflict because I'd been pretty blasé towards the whole religion thing, but to stand up to their whole, like I said, it felt like a barrage, an attack. And so I started going to the local Methodist church, which one of my friends said is like Catholic light, which I think that it has a lot more in common with the Christian church I went to in Willamina than Catholic church, or even, I've been to Lutheran and Anglican, but what do they call Anglican churches here in the States? Presbyterian? It's the same thing, right? Something like that. Anyway, they're a lot more closely related to Catholicism than your average Protestant church, both of them being, direct reactions. And so, you can call the minister father and things like that. And the Methodist church I went to had a female preacher, and when they did communion, they used real bread and said everyone was welcome. And I know in the Catholic and even in the Anglican churches, you have to be a confirmed member to get wafers, cookies, Jesus cookies. So I didn't see the Methodist churches being even Catholic light. They just seemed like mainstream Protestant, whatever. I'm so ignorant. I admit it right off the bat. I'm just gonna say I am super ignorant. But anyway, I think the final nail in the coffin for me was one Sunday. Joel went to Catholic church. I went to the Methodist church. And maybe this is where the Catholic light thing comes from, because when we got back and compared notes, it's like the preachers had preached the exact same sermons. It was just some of the stage dressings, the communion and things that were different, and the female preacher or minister or pastor, I don't even know what you're supposed to call people, compared to the priest, things like that. So I was just like, what even is the point? They're all when I really thought about how the sermons are laid out according to the time of year and what's going on and what went on historically and all that stuff. It's like, wait. As Bart Simpson said, the little stupid differences are nothing compared to all the big stupid similarities. So, yeah, what is the point? I quit going. And then Joel eventually quit going to church, so I don't know. But my mother-in-law, she would bring home pamphlets from church, and when Joel would go visit her, she'd give them to him about how Protestants had some of the truth, but not the whole truth. Again, that makes me think of the Simpsons with Marge learning how to be a realtor, and
But all I did was tell the truth.
Of course you did, but there's the truth and the truth.
But, and then there, because I had muscular dystrophy, even my own mom was like, use birth control, don't have kids, because I don't think you can stand childbearing or child rearing. And she's right. I mean, I went downhill a hell of a lot faster than my dad did. And I mean, of course, if we'd had kids that early in the marriage, they'd be in their late teens by now, and we'd be able to, you know, help out and stuff. But you shouldn't have kids just to be worker bees or slaves or indentured servants or whatever. I mean, my sister and I helped out with our dad because we loved him and stuff, but who knows? Maybe my kids would have resented me or something. Maybe they would have moved out as soon as they got out of high school and taken off. Who knows? And I'd be even more disabled after going through the whole childbearing and child rearing thing. I mean, I can't even hold a 9-pound cat. How am I supposed to hold a baby? So yeah, we were on the pill. I was on the pill for the first 10 years of our marriage, and his mom would send home things claiming that the pill causes abortions. It doesn't. Claiming that the pill, it's just unnatural and causes cancer. Well, I don't know. I took him for 10 years and I'm cancer free, so whatever. But I ended up stop taking it, not because of any of her pamphlets. Somewhere along the line, Joel stood up to her and told her to stop sending this stuff home and making us, especially me, feel bad and crying and stuff. So, you know, from the beginning it was kind of rocky. And we got married in the Catholic Church in Grand Ronde just to make her happy. Because I mean, my dad had passed away by then, and my mom, she'd been raised Presbyterian, but she was seemed pretty apathetic towards the whole going to church thing. In fact, when I wanted to get baptized in the Christian church in Willamina, and now it's called the First Christian Church of Willamina, but when I was a kid it was just the Willamina Christian Church. So whatever. I was never able to figure out the exact denomination besides just Christian. So, when I wanted to be baptized into it when I was a kid, she and Dad said no. So my mom wasn't particularly religious, so I didn't think she'd care. I don't know anything about the religions of the rest of my family members. I mean, when I look at doing genealogy, it's written down in the family history that my great-grandmother's second husband, or lover on the side, I can never figure out if there was really a divorce and remarriage or just a separation and shacking up. Whatever. It was 100 years ago. Who even cares anymore? I'm just saying, things don't really change. Every generation thinks that it's discovered all the taboos, and every generation before it is disgusted by all these new taboos, ignoring the fact that they, when they were younger, thought they discovered said taboos, and their parents were probably disgusted, and so on down the line. That's just the way it is. Things will never change. But anyway, yeah, going back to that family history, it said that her great-grandma Barbara's second husband, be my step great grandfather, Davis, was a spiritualist, and spiritualism was huge in the late 1800s. But it also says of their children, and I guess some of their children's children, that they were all good Adventists. And I said that weird. It's weird without saying the seventh day in front of it, but see, before there were Seventh-day Adventists, there were just Adventists. But anyway, yeah, so it says they were all good Adventists, which I don't know if that means that they went out and were disappointed by the great disappointment or not, because they were also spiritualists. I don't know. On my mom's side of the family, it's slightly less muddy. My grandma, Bubba Zimmerman, was born in Oklahoma, and she was a Southern Baptist. She married Grandpa Zimmerman, who was a Presbyterian, and then here on the West Coast, to California and Oregon, I guess they didn't have any Southern Baptist churches. So my mom went to the Presbyterian church growing up. I know my folks were married in Barlow, Oregon, which is kind of like on your way if you go from Salem and you take 99 instead of I-5 north. You take 99E going like towards Portland, but you go through like Milwaukee and Canby and Hills. Or I don't know, I might be getting all the towns mixed up because it's been so long since I've been out driving around. But anyway, Barlow's kind of a wide spot in the road there, I think, between Salem and Canby, and I have no idea what church is there. Or if they were married in it or at the courthouse. I know in the wedding picture, Mom and Dad, Mom is wearing a white or a blue dress, which, if you know how wedding dress lore actually goes, white didn't used to mean purity, it meant joy. And all the colors had meanings, just like colors have meanings in everything. And I think the poem says something like, married in blue, forever true, or something like that, which was certainly true of my mom. I was married in a green dress, mostly because I wanted a champagne colored dress. I ordered out of a Fredericks of Hollywood catalog, which I know screams sleazy lingerie. I say that for the honeymoon. But they had these dresses that were real nice. They had a high collar, and then on the chest there was a cutout heart pattern surrounded by lace, and then like a little heart thing, pendant thing dangling in the middle of it, which I thought was really pretty. And in the summer, spring, it was available in champagne, but Joel didn't propose until September, and by then they had brought out their fall and Christmas colors, which meant my choices went from lighter ones to like a dark blue, forest green, or a dark red, and so I chose the green because I had this prophetic dream that my wedding colors were going to be green, forest green specifically, and peach. And even though I'm not like a big blue person, I just kind of thought it was fun. I mean, I thought it was an interesting color contrast, and you know, peach roses were really pretty. I had lots of flowers. I mean, peach is hard to define. It can be everything from beige to light pink to even light orange. So, you know, there was a lot of room for play there. So all the flowers and decorations basically were in shades of quote-unquote peach. And I had wanted the bridesmaids to also wear like peach or the champagne color, which I think the dresses I picked out for them were still available, and the bridesmaids were my sister and my friend Carla. And it's a very small wedding, but my sister said she didn't want to wear peach. She'd rather wear green. And I didn't tell her that I would be wearing green. And really it's like it's supposed to be a big faux pas to show up wearing, well, it's a big faux pas to show up wearing white when the bride is wearing white. I know that. But I was just like, oh well. You know, the men were all wearing black tuxedos with green accents like the bow tie and cummerbund. So I just figured, oh well, everyone will match. The groom, Joel's dad was his best man. Like you want to say groom of honor. My sister was my maid of honor. My mom walked me down the aisle, and me and Joel's friend, he was one of our best family friends at the time, Augie. His real name was Dave. Actually, his real name was Robert, but everyone called him Dave or Augie. And Augie, God, he and his wife Jan did so much for us getting the wedding going. They printed out all of the invitations and paid for the postage. I think they paid for the postage. Maybe I had to buy the postage. Maybe that's how I repaid them for the paper printer. Was buying them. I don't remember details because Augie after 21 years. But they did they printed out all of the invitations, and they were the wedding photographers. And Augie was a groomsman, and he was also the usher. So, and my mom paid for all the flowers and the wedding cake and the champagne, and she got a deal on any unopened bottles of champagne could be returned, which was good. Because, you know, she didn't, well, she did. She had sold the house, so she did it. I'm sure she had some money. Well, she must have had money to offer, because I went for like one of the least expensive cakes I could find, and it was still $400. I can't even imagine how much the flowers and wine cost. And I picked out a beautiful cake topper. I'm glad we have pictures of it, because just like a year ago, last year sometime, one of the cats knocked it off the cupboard where we'd put it up to display, and it just shattered into a gazillion pieces. I mean, it couldn't be glued back together. Some of it was just dust, but and that really made me sad. But Joel didn't seem to care, so whatever. He doesn't even remember what the cake looked like or anything. He has a really bad memory. Now here's a story I want to post to Reddit under church drama. I'm gonna get away from doctors and stuff. I mean, all you gotta know is like upcoming, yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital and I'll need to be sedated to have a tooth pulled and some other teeth filled because I'm crippled. And then I'm going to, well, I gotta have a trach change coming up soon. I sent off paperwork. Well, this is a big one, but And I sent off paperwork to the Hope County mental health or whatever to try and get counseling, especially since, like, I've just been this monstrous bitch beast since my MD cut back on the Clonopin or clonazepam, whatever you want to call it. Oh God, I'm sorry, that's not vent. It even scared me, but oh hey, I did find the website here that talks about the wedding dress color meanings. Let's see if this goes by what I read elsewhere. White is associated with light, goodness, purity, innocence, and virginity. Well, that's already wrong. I mean, nowadays, yeah, but traditionally it was associated with joy. The ancient Romans got married in white because it represented joy. And I don't know, the purity thing is like a late 19th, early 20th century thing. Just like pink used to be the color for boys because it's basically light red. In fact, they didn't even have a word for pink back in the days. They called it like rose or light red. I don't know when the word pink came into being, but blue was the color for girls because it was considered to be a sleepy, drowsy color, while pink is, you know, light red, it's blood, it's masculinity, all this. And it was in the early 20th century that they just like swapped. Now when you go to, you know, well, Toys R Us, I guess, doesn't have brick and mortar stores anymore. I don't know if they have a web presence, but I've only been in a Toys R Us a couple of times, and it's like this giant pink section is for girls stuff, and the whole rest of the store is gender neutral colors, i.e. boys stuff. That's what it came across as. I don't know. I get so mad when I read about, like, parents who won't let their boys even wear pink clothes or anything, because, oh, that's girly, you don't want to look gay, whatever. No one ever says to a girl wearing blue clothes, oh, that's masculine, you don't want to look butch in your blue dress and hair ribbon and stuff, whatever. Okay, so anyway, ivory, same thing said about white can be said about ivory. It's a very traditional color. However, some believe ivory is also a symbol of tainted innocence. I guess that's what I would have been if I got my champagne colored dress. Tainted innocence. Oh my goodness. Scandalous. Red may symbolize many things. The positive being love, infatuation, strong emotions, excitement, energy, strength, and passion. But many different types of cultural-based weddings wear red. Like many different types of cultural-based weddings are where red wedding gowns tend to be the most popular. But don't count out the bride that simply wants to make a statement and stand up in the crowd or whatever. Let's see, pink, the color pink represents innocent, childlike personality, freshness, purity, love, good health, good life. Blue is obviously, it says, associated with the color of water and the sea. Hey, my mom is a Pisces. She's a water sign. That makes sense. Whatever. I'm a Cancer. I guess that's a water sign too. Or I'm a Cancer on the face of the earth, as I like to say. I also like to point out that I was indeed born on a Friday the 13th, which I think explains a lot about my life. But anyway, it represents calmness and peacefulness. Blue also conveys femininity, life, purity, etc. Hey, why does blue convey femininity when it's the boys' color? Ooh. And just as white does, blue can also symbolize stability, security, and lifelong loyalty. Well, there you go. Married in blue, forever true. That's what I was looking for, was the rhyme. Laura Ingalls Wilder got married in black. Did you know that? And her mother said, married in black, wish yourself back. But she and Almanzo were married until they were in their 90s. Well, I mean, Almanzo is like, what, almost 10 years older than her? So obviously he reached his 90s first. But I mean, they both lived to be super old and they were married the whole time. And it's like really bizarre seeing pictures of Laura and Almanzo wearing 1950s style clothes in front of a 1950s style house made of ticky tack. You know, she did that to be in her, they both lived to be in her 90s and being born in the, 1860s. Yeah, they saw a lot. They saw the whole Industrial Revolution. That's one thing that boggles my mind. They went, like Laura and her family went from traveling across the country in a covered wagon to living through the age of flight, of automobiles, of cameras, of film, of television, of suburbs, and urbanization. I mean, wow. What a time to have been alive. Of course, we've gone through quite a few, obviously we've gone through quite a few changes ourselves here since 1973, so I've got plenty of people my age printing those or posting those nostalgic posts about records and record players and cassette tapes and televisions that didn't have remotes, they had knobs. You had to wade through 9 feet of shag carpet to get to the TV to change the channel. And we had the good toys, like the fat-faced, rounded My Little Ponies, not the little skinny ones that the bronies want to have sex with or whatever. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, black represents power, sexuality, sophistication, formality, wealth, mystery, depth, and best of all, style. Well, that's Laura Ingalls Wilder right there. But it doesn't say anything about green. This was a bad wedding site. But, anyway. So, yeah. The story I'd like to host to Reddit would be under church drama, but it wouldn't be, it actually wouldn't involve my mother-in-law at all. Okay, the world of lore has placed such cautions and recommendations in the form of rhyme. Okay, here we go. Finally, phew. Oh, of course. Married in white, you have chosen all right. Someone who's been married in a white gown is divorced. Maybe you better get remarried, because you obviously chose all right. Green, however, married in green, ashamed to be seen. Married in red, you'll wish yourself dead. Married in blue, you will always be true. Married in yellow, ashamed of your fellow. Oh my gosh. Married in black, you will wish yourself back. That's what Laura's mom told her, but like I said, she and Almanzo were married for like 70 some odd years. Married in pink, of you he'll think. So that's what you need to know for getting married. Married in white, you've chosen all right. Married in green, ashamed to be seen. Married in red, you will wish yourself dead. Married in blue, you will always be true. Married in yellow, ashamed of your fellow. Married in black, you will wish yourself back. And married in pink, of you he'll think. They probably don't have any warnings or recommendations or Married in Purple because nothing rhymes with purple. So here's the story that I want to type up for Reddit, but typing has gotten so hard, and my Dragon Naturally speaking software that I have isn't compatible with Windows 10. I need to upgrade yet again. Not just update the software, but like get whatever the new natural speaking is. So, but here goes. Joel and I were, you have to go to Canada. Well, I don't know about how other churches do things, but with the Catholic Church, you have to meet with the priest, and you have to meet with a married Catholic family, and they'll be like your counselors and teachers before the wedding. And we originally had wanted to get married at St. Joseph's in Salem because that's Joel's mom's favorite church. But evidently it's everyone's favorite church for weddings because they were booked out for like a year and a half. And we need to get married ASAP because my mom, so I lived at home all the way up to when I got married. And after my dad died, my mom decided, the old homestead had too many memories and stuff, and she wanted to move into someplace. She wanted to move into her own place. She wanted to move to an apartment and not have so much land and stuff to take care of and be closer to amenities and stuff because she was getting older. And so she moved to, first she moved to Sheridan, and then I think she moved to, well, I know she moved to Dallas, obviously. I think she moved to Dallas to be closer to me because I was needing more help, and also be closer to work because she worked for the Department of Revenue in Salem. She and I both worked for the state. She worked for Revenue, and I worked for Workers' Comp Board. But anyway, that's all beside the point, really. I mean, well, my Aunt Lois bought the house because I guess because it's connected to the farm, and she had bought out all the rest of the family shares in the family farm, so it was hers. And she wanted me out by like the end of the year. And Joel and I had purchased a manufactured home, and we were renting the lot at the time. Eventually we were able to buy the lot and bundle it in with the home and get a new mortgage that included the land, which is good because a lot of people who decided to move out because the landlords frankly sucked were having a hard time selling a house that didn't have land to go with it, Of course, we never sold the house. We're still in it 21 years later. Suddenly that 30-year mortgage doesn't seem so long. 2/3 of it have just flown by, so I don't know, maybe I will live to see the house paid off. But anyway, so here's the setup. Joel proposed in September of 1997, September 1st. It was our 2-year anniversary of dating. And so then my mom sold the house and moved out and left me there alone, which was kind of cool. I got to live on, got to know I don't know, living alone for a little while, though I think she still paid for the bills and things. But Aunt Lois wanted me out by the end of the year. So we bought this manufactured home and rented this lot in Dallas, because at the time Joel was working in Dallas. And so we literally can see his little workplace from our house. So, it would shave time off his commute, and it would shave time off my commute, because I lived out near Grand Ronde at Valley Junction, where if you've ever been to Spirit Mountain Casino, they practically built it in my backyard in that big farm. Well, I've talked about all that before. So anyway, moving to Dallas would cut my commute almost in half too. So it was win-win for the both of us. So that's why we chose Dallas, and we told them over and over, we needed the land developed and the house installed by the end of December, because we got married on January 3rd, 1998. Well, they didn't have the house ready for us to move in until February 14th, 1998, so for a while Joel ended up living out near Grand Ronde with me, because he had already cleared out his apartment and thinking we would, have some place to be, have our own place. So he moved into my house out in Grand Ronde for a little while, which upset my aunt, because like I said, she wanted me out by the end of the year. I guess she was chomping at the bit to get us out, but we had no place to go. What were we going to do, rent an apartment for a month? Live in a hotel for a month? I don't know. So things were very rushed between September 1st of 97 and January 3rd of 98. We had to cram in all the counseling with the priest and all the counseling or teaching with the couple. And at the time, the parish was in, it was like the Yamhill County parish. So it was the big church, St. James in McMinnville, and then the church in Sheridan. And Willamina didn't have a Catholic church, but out in Grand Ronde by Agency Creek, which used to be the Indian agency. There used to be a reservation years ago. It was this really old Catholic church. It's like a landmark. And so there was one priest who was very old, very, very, very old, and rather decrepit, to be honest. And he did the parish for both Sheridan and Grand Ronde. And so we had our counseling sessions at his little parsonage. Would you call it a parsonage? For a priest, his little priest house by the Sheridan Church. Anyway, that's where we had our little sessions with him, but we got married in this, little historic church out at Grand Ronde. And I will try to insert a picture of the church sign that explains what makes it historical. Like, I don't remember if it's the first Catholic church in Oregon or the first one west of the Rockies or something. Well, probably not west of the Rockies. I mean, there had to have been Spanish missionaries in California and stuff, but, well, I don't know. Maybe the first one in Oregon. Well, I'll find the sign and put it up. But anyway, so, yeah. I asked Joel to pick up the wedding license. Now here's where we're getting to the meat of the story. I didn't think about this at all, but Joel, residing in Salem at the time, which is in Marion County, went to the Marion County courthouse to pick up the license. But we got married in Hill County. And so I think that right there caused some confusion. I know for me it caused concern once I realized what was what, because I was afraid, since the priest and the church and everything was in Yamhill County, that he would send the license to the Yamhill County courthouse in McMinnville, and they wouldn't know what to do with it. Because McMinnville, of course, is the seat of Yamhill County. Dallas is the county seat for Polk, and Salem's county seat for Marion. So that's just some extra information. See, I would really need to streamline this for Reddit. I don't even know how. I just wouldn't have the. I don't have the energy to sit down and write it all out. But yeah, okay. So here's the church drama. We went ahead and got married in Yamhill County, and we had this nice certificate, a wedding certificate. They had a picture, an outline of the state of Oregon, and you signed the bride's names and the groom's names, and then the witnesses, were our parents or whatever. The priest signed it and all this, and I actually took that. I thought that was the license or something, or it was an official document, because everyone signed it and even put down their addresses. So I thought this was an official document. I didn't think about the actual license at all. Could put out of my mind. So when I went into Social Security office to change my name on my Social Security card, I even took the certificate in as proof of getting married, along, I don't know, whatever other documents that had our new Dallas address. Even though the house wasn't ready, I'd already filled out change of address forms, so I'd drive by Dallas and pick up my mail. That was fun. I don't know, things were just stupid for a while, because we were still pretty young and didn't know what we were really doing. And we didn't have a wedding planner, which was kind of a mistake. My cousin Judy stepped in the last second, because she is a wedding planner, and she helped us out through the rehearsal and stuff. So and she was there, helping us herd cats on the wedding day. And for the most part, the day went off without a hitch, and we had our little honeymoon. And now Valentine's Day, 1998, we moved into our new house, finally. We were husband and wife and had our own place. And 10 years went by. And after 10 years, I don't know, something, because it was a big anniversary or something, maybe, I don't remember, but something just kind of started tickling in the back of my brain. I think I might have seen something about how the wedding certificate wasn't an official document, that it was actually, people hired people to do calligraphy to fill theirs out so that they looked pretty, and then they framed them, and I was like, oh, we had the actual people sign it. Well, that's weird. Okay, okay, yeah. And we never received a carbon copy or whatever of the actual wedding license. So I sat and stewed and stewed and stewed some more until finally I made a post about it on LiveJournal way back in the day. Oh, come on. I want to see if I can find exactly what I wrote. Now, of course, my password protection is password protected. So sometimes, oh, come on. But don't be like this. Okay. The third time's a charm. Anyway, I just started having this really awful feeling. And I gotta mention that in the meantime, my sister, who had moved to McMinnville when she moved out of the house and then had converted to Catholicism and was going to St. James Church, the same church that was like the head of the whole Yamhill County parish thing. She knew some information about some of the inner workings of the church there in Yamhill County that I didn't know. So let me get to my nice little LiveJournal here. Let me see if I can. I wonder if I use tags. I had to use tags. But, oh gosh, everything's so small. I'm getting so blind. Let's see. That boy. Oh, come on. I had to tag these posts. Whew. There we go. There's the tag. Marriage license. This will be fun. This will be fun. And see, maybe. Maybe wow, this goes way back. Okay, maybe if I did do a Reddit post, it would largely be copied and pasted from my LiveJournal. So on June 27th, 2007, so this is actually even before our 10th anniversary, but I was still starting to get feelings. Okay, here's what I wrote. I'm just gonna read it. This is boring, fast forward, or whatever, but here we go. Okay, June 27th, 2007. Guess what? Turns out Joel and I aren't legally married. Well, we are, we just can't prove it. Once upon a time, we purchased a marriage license and were wed by a Catholic priest who was not in the best of health. Some weeks after the wedding, the county clerk's office called and asked if we intended to use that license because it was about to expire. Aha! Okay, sorry. I've forgotten a lot of these details. I am glad I still have my LiveJournal. We said we already had, so they said to contact the priest and make sure he submitted the rest of the paperwork. When I called the priest's office, though, his secretary told me that he'd fallen ill and been forced to retire. Maybe the story's getting mixed up here. Maybe she just said that he was ill, and I found out later through the grapevine that he retired. That grapevine, of course, being my sister, who was now part of this community at this point. Point is, priest was out of the picture, but she said she'd look through his paperwork and see what she could find. I never heard back from her or the county, so huge procrastinator that I am. Yeah, I waited over 6 years, or wait, I waited almost 10 years. I hoped / assumed that it was taken care of. Damn near 10 years later, I don't have enough other stuff to worry about, so I start dwelling on this marriage issue. Marriage license issue. Was it ever resolved? Have we in fact been lying to the IRS, Social Security, etc.? I began. You gotta know too that Oregon does not have common law marriage. I might actually mention it somewhere in one of these posts, but that's something else I found out when researching. They'll honor common law marriages from other states that have common law marriage, but you can't just declare yourself common law married in Oregon, no matter how many years you live together, or if you've taken your partner's last name, or you have shared bank accounts, all that crap. Doesn't matter. You're not married in any way, shape, or form in Oregon. Unless, like I said, you were common law married in another state than Oregon will honor it. Bizarre, but back to the other story here. Have we in fact been lying to the IRS, Social Security, etc.? I began to wonder what my mouse give me problems. I don't know if the battery's weak or what. Anyway, let's see. Wonder what if I was the one with the paperwork. I've never seen the license. I don't think, because Joel bought it. But we had a marriage certificate that the priest and we had signed, witnessed by my sister and Joel's father, and stamped by the county clerk. Maybe that was what they wanted to see. I foolishly put it in the wedding album. Well, when I said foolishly, oh yeah, because I'm assuming that the county would want to see it. But I said it was stamped by the county clerk, so I'm already confused by my own story. That's why I was so confused back then. Anyway, I put it in the wedding album last night. I finally had Joel dig the album out so I could look at it. But it didn't say anywhere that I need to go back to the clerk's office. Joel finally told me to quit fretting and just call already. Long story short, too late as usual. Some things never change. Excuse me, long story short, the priest never filed the paperwork. And the certificate, though signed and witnessed, means buckus legally. We're married, the clerk assured us, but we can't prove it. According to the clerk, our options are thus. 1. Find the original license and have the priest submit the 2 pages that need to go back to the county. 1. Find the original license and have the priest submit the 2 papers that need to go back to the county. The 3rd page he's supposed to keep for his records. 2. If the county's 2 pages are missing, bring the 3rd page. It's still good enough as long as it's got the priest's signature. 3. If all of the pages of the license are well and truly missing, buy a new license and get the priest, the same priest who married us, to sign it. 4. If we can't get the priest, get a new license and a new priest and start all over. Yes, she said start over. I left a message at the church today. Since I didn't hear back, there's another number. I'll try tomorrow. Why did I sit on my butt hoping other people would do their job and take care of this. If you don't stay on top of people, they never get things done. I've said this often enough, you'd think it would have sunk in by now. But I'm surrounded by idiots. Oh dear. Yeah, I did say that a lot back in the day. Anyway. Unfortunately, I'm the biggest idiot of all. At least I hope. It was the priest who was supposed to submit the license. Maybe we're the ones who screwed up all along. I hope he kept the church's copy. Like I said, biggest idiot of all. Okay. June 27th, 2007. Wait, same day? Oh yeah, no. The first one at 12:40 a.m. because I'm a night owl. Then later that same day, so I spoke to someone from the church, and it turns out a lot of things that didn't get signed or filed back in the old priest's last days, but the secretary is on it, and hopefully they'll have something in a few days. But he said it's a good thing we have the marriage certificate. It counts for something in their books at least. June 28th, 2007. The church secretary called back and Joel talked to her because I was sleeping. He told me that she asked for a copy of the marriage certificate and she'll have to talk to the archdiocese and the county. But this will get straightened out. I told Joel to be sure to make a note to send with the certificate explaining that the priest accidentally wrote 1997 instead of 1998. It was only January 3rd, I guess. He hadn't had time to adjust to the new year. I just noticed for the first time the other day that he'd written the wrong date, and that the license was purchased in Marion County, not Yam Hill, where the wedding was performed. Part of me has worried that the problem might be that he accidentally sent the license to Yam Hill County, but surely they would have returned it. Besides, it's sounding like she couldn't find the church's copy. We should have just shacked up or eloped to Vegas. If it turns out we have to start over, I say that's what we do. Vegas. Vegas, baby. August 6th, 2007. So over a month, 2 months has gone by now. I had some good news today. After playing phone tag with the church secretary for a couple of months, I think we finally, almost just about, got the marriage license deal sorted out. Tomorrow Joel has to take our marriage certificate to the county and use the number on it to get a duplicate of the marriage license. Then we'll mail that duplicate to the church secretary, who'll give it to the priest, who'll take it to the priest who married us for our signature. Yes, the priest who married us is still Shut up, then. I'm getting tired from all the talking, and I think the extra strain is making the vent work too hard, and it's complaining. Hard work is good for you, Vent. Anyway, yes, the priest who married us is still alive. Hallelujah. Then they'll mail that back to the county, and we should be officially and 100% legal. Yay! Just in time for the divorce. Just kidding. I'm so glad Father Jim is still alive, though I admit it is mostly for selfish reasons. The church secretary repeated that the county clerk had told me if there was no way to get his signature, we'd have to get a new license and get married all over again. I have no idea legally what that would mean. For the last 10 years, did we lie on our tax forms, filing married joint? Should my social security card have the name Saunders on it? I'm so relieved we won't have to find out. I don't know if this has cured me of my procrastination. It didn't. But I will try not to put things off for a decade in the future. Yeah. I still procrastinate. Okay, the next day, August 7th, 2007. Okay, someone isn't getting something right. Joel went to the courthouse today with the marriage certificate and was told he could not get a duplicate of the license. The county clerk said we have to come in together and get a new license and sign it there, and then get the priest who married us to sign it. She also says she talked to the church secretary and was told, oh, yeah, so, okay. If I paid attention to what I wrote, I would have already known some things. Boy, it is hard to remember details. Okay, but she also says she talked to the church secretary and was told Father Jim is dead. She said if he's not, then he can sign the license. If he is, then we need to get a notarized affidavit from my sister. She's a witness on the marriage certificate. So by this time, Joel's father had also passed away. I believe he was the other witness. I don't know, I can't remember what I just said. Yeah, witnessed by my sister and Joel's father. So Joel's father had already passed away by 2007. Excuse me. So yeah, we'd get an affidavit from my sister. She's the witness on the marriage certificate, stating when and where we were married and all that. I know what the secretary told me on the phone yesterday. It's exactly like I said in my prior entry. She said mail the license to her, she'd give it to Father Terry, who would take it to Father Jim to sign. I said, Father Jim, he's still ... with us? She said, yes, he's still with us. In spirit? Well, that's what she should have said. She said, yes, he's still with us. And then she went on to say that if he wasn't still alive, we'd have to start over. Man, I'm getting stressed now from what I know. I mean, from what I know, shit, we aren't married. I procrastinated another decade. Anyway, so here we go. Oh, this is church drama. I'm getting a little nauseated just thinking about it. You don't think, you don't think a priest would forge the signature of a dead priest on a license just to make a problem go away, do you? And also from August 7th. Again, I say the marriage certificate, it's not a legal document. However, it doesn't prove we used the license and got married. Doesn't prove a thing. Oh, it's a picture of the license. I wondered what the text cut was. Okay. I wish you could do the text cuts in Facebook. You know, where you can put like a bulk of your post behind the link so you can discuss spoilers of TV shows and stuff, and people don't have to click the link and get spoiled. But whatever. Okay. August 8th. The next day. August 8th, 2007. We went to the courthouse today, and I think things are finally straightened out. We signed a new copy of the marriage license. The clerk said she talked to the church secretary again, and the secretary confirmed Father Jim is alive and in a nursing home in Portland. So we're going to send the license to the secretary. We'll give it to her parish priest. We'll take it to Father Jim. I guess I'll check back in a couple of weeks and see if it's all done. If not, I'll keep on top of it and not wait another 10 years. I promise. Ha! Not only am I a procrastinator, I can't keep my promises. Let's see. And the rest of the entry is about obscure game shows that failed in the late 2000s that I don't even remember. Oh well, okay, so that's it about the certificate. Marriage License of Doom. The saga continues. This interaction is titled September 7th, 2007. When we last left our hero, the marriage license had been mailed to Sandra, the church secretary, who was to give it to Father Terry, who was to take it to Father Jim at the retirement home for his signature. Yesterday I called the county clerk's office and asked if they'd received it yet. They said no, so I left a message with the church asking for a status update. Today Father Terry called back and left a message saying he had no idea what I was talking about. Oh my God. Joel called back and was told, Father, wait. Father Terry was in a meeting and Sandra had been out because she had surgery, so we have to call back Monday, and that's the story thus far. Well, it's really going on here. I have no idea what to think. And is that it? Oh my God, really? Is that it? Is that the last thing I wrote? Now I'm freaked out again. Ugh, is that it? Seriously? Second Life, pets. Oh my gosh, I did just drop it. Well, here's the tea, sis. My sis, who I said was my inside contact for that parish while she was still into the church and stuff. She told me that indeed Father Jim died like hours seconds, minutes, well, probably more like days or weeks after we got married, and nothing got done. He's not in an old priest retirement home. Father Terry, indeed, probably did not have a clue what we were talking about, because the secretary was probably pulling shenanigans behind his back so we wouldn't have to get remarried. That means our marriage license probably does have a forged signature, which that can't be legal. So I guess once again, Joel and I are married, but we can't prove it, and well, now I know why people have second weddings, so fix what they screwed up the first time. In our case, actually getting a license signed by a priest. Holy cow. After 21 years, does it really matter? Or now that I've blasted this out on the internet, not that I wasn't blasting it on the internet when I was posting all on LiveJournal, but I mean, seriously, now that I've posted this all out on the internet, yeah, evidently this is what happened. Father Jim married us. Father Jim signed nothing, filed nothing. His secretary at the time was named Yvonne. After she died, not Yvonne, after Father Jim died, after he died, the paperwork didn't get completed like it should. Things fell through the cracks. 10 years later, someone goes poking their nose in asking, are we married? What's going on? And if you can't cough up a license with Father Jim's signature on it, well, we're going to need to buy a new license and get remarried. We don't want to get remarried. We've already been married almost 10 years. This isn't good. This isn't right. We don't want to start over. So this secretary says, well, you know, my sister told me that after Father Jim retired / croaked that the whole county fell under the St. James Parish, so, or St. James Church, so they were looking after the Sheridan and Grand Ronde parishes, whatever. Maybe they just closed them down. Said if you're Catholic, come to Mac. I don't know. Mac is what us locals call McMinnville. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they were like, well, yeah, we can't find a license. Father Jim probably never signed it. But we don't want these people to have to get, like, married, start over again. Oh my God, I hope that doesn't include the counseling. Jeez. After 10 years, I'll just say Father Jim's in a retirement home in Portland. Father Terry visits him often. Father Terry will have him sign a new license. Easy peasy. But really, I'll sign it. You know, whatever. It doesn't matter. No one will know. No one will know. It's fine. No one will know. But she doesn't send it in to the county. Maybe she screwed up and sent it to Yamhill County instead of Marion. I don't know. It doesn't get filed. And we called Father Terry and asked him, "You gonna see Father Jim? Get that thing signed?" He's like, "What? I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign." And so I procrastinated, actually more than 10 years this time. From 97 to, or from 2007, I almost scared myself there. From 2007 to 2019, who has 2 thumbs and has procrastinated 12 years this time? This girl. You can't see my thumbs because I can't raise my arms that high, but it's this girl. I wonder if for shits and giggles, if I should just call St. James in church and say, "Have you ever gotten around to filing that marriage license from 2007 that should have been signed in 1998? That's Father Jim Hall." Jeez Louise, what a mess. I'm just gonna end it right here. This is blowing my mind. Good night, and I hope you are married if you want to be. I thought I was for the last 21 years. I don't even know anymore. Good night.